game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Buck.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's game day. We're already back on Breakfast with the Buccateers, the way too early pregame show. Huncho, we're going to let you take over real quick as you're a holy man and you're going to the better graces on this beautiful Sunday morning. Go crazy, Hunch.
Yo, morning.
Take over, brother. Give us your thoughts and your segment before you got to head out of here.
Good morning, man. Yeah, I'm excited to be here another Sunday. We got football is back, baby. Just ready to see the Bears take this L, man. And we going.
Are you going to be at the game today by chance? And how's the weather looking around there? Is it nice out? Is it overcast out? We're lucky it's not here in Chicago as it is overcast here. Hunch, I think we might have lost Hunch here for a minute, but Hunch, is it overcast down there? How is it looking?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you. What's up?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I was cutting in. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it this Sunday, but I heard it's supposed to rain a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. The horrible thing about today is that USF played on they had their game last night on the same field. So I don't like that because that's how injuries happen and stuff like that. The field is going to be messed up. So I pray that we can walk out of this game unscathed with no injuries.
Yeah, and Christopher Cole's joining us. Says morning, everybody. Dwayne Van Dyke is joining us, saying too much bear. Hope everyone realizes this could be a trap game. Huncho, this very easily could be one of those trap games, but you hope when you're rooting for a team like the Buccaneers that they've been able to take that next step up in the right direction to avoid those trap type feelings on games, because when you're a big boy, there really are no such thing as trap games. When you're one of the cream of the crops, best of the best, you really should go out there and win regardless.
Yeah, most definitely. You can't get caught up in thinking too high about the last game, because then that's how you get a trap game and you end up losing this game. But I don't see this team doing that. I honestly think they're still trying to figure out who they are. So they're going to be going 110% every game until you know for sure what you can do. And we got a lot of pieces to the puzzle we got to connect. I expect for our team to come out and play hungry. And I just want to see more consistent play calling and a better run game. The defense consistently stacking and doing what they do. Levante David and Devin White flying to the ball, and we did a lot of gang tackling last week. I want to see that also. Mike, I'm looking for you to catch every single ball that touches your hands. Chris Godwin needs to get more involved. If you can sprinkle some Trey Palmer in there, that'll be nice.
Big play, Trey.
And I want to see Zion McCullum, if he could step in for Carlton Davis and see what he has. Also, Shaq Barrett, he has to step up, or not step up. I just want to see him get back to where he was so we can see. I want to see him more pressure. He was hell in the run, but I want to see more pressure, in the passing situations.
Yeah, real quick here, Hunch. I know we only have you a couple more moments. I'm going to ask you your thoughts on a couple of these gambling prop bets like we did last week. If you think the Bucs will be able to obtain these numbers in either the running game, the passing game, you know how we roll here, or the wide receiver game. Let's start with player passing. Baker Mayfield, Huncho, over 224.5 passing yards. That is his line. Do you think Baker gets to over 224.5?
That's a tight one. I have to go with yes. I'll go with yes.
I'll go with yes as well. I think Baker bakes a little bit today to go over that. This one is a little tricky to me. Total pass completions by the player. Baker Mayfield over under 20.5 completions.
I was thinking right there at the line of 20. So yeah, if we're saying we win in this game, then yeah, he's definitely gonna have to complete 20 passes. So I get that. I'll take that too.
And then we have total pass attempts by the player. We'll go with the Bears on this one. Justin Fields, 25.5 passing attempts against this Bucs defense. Do you think that hits over or under?
I'll say over.
Yeah, you think he's going to be playing from behind and passing and the likes of that and whatnot. I agree with you there. Player receiving hunch, Mike Evans. You could win. Okay, so 59.5 yards over under. If you go over and say if you bet $20, you would win 24. So the line is actually plus 120 on that. Over under 59.5 yards for Mike Evans.
That's going to be a tough one, but he is going against, I believe, their starting cornerback is hurt, so either him, I think he'll be going against the backup, him or Chris Godwin. But I don't know, it's tough. That's a tough one. I mean,
wow, Dwayne's saying 125 for Evans.
If he goes, yeah, if Mike Evans has a day, then yeah, you got it, because he's a deep threat, so he'll be getting those passes. So yeah, I'll go with the over for Mike.
Yeah, and that would win you positive money. Remember, if you bet 10, that would win you 12. So if you like Huncho's thinking, I agree with Huncho and Dwayne as well. I think Mike gets that over. Go ahead and go in. To me, this one's going to hit Huncho. Over under for Chris Godwin, 55.5 yards is his over under. I think he hits the over pretty easily.
You think so?
I think because he's going to be placed up against those Bears nickel cornerbacks more so, and that's really where they're lacking a little depth, it seems. The Bears nickel especially. I think they're on their third nickel corner, I want to say. So I think Godwin's going to be able to slice and dice a little bit, get some momentum going out there.
Yeah, it all depends on the momentum and how we come out. If we come out striking early and we look like we're on the same page and we play clean, I can see him also getting the yards over. But it's just tough. There's a lot of players for the ball to be spread upon. But I definitely want Chris Godwin and Mike Evans to get their yards for sure. So I have to agree with you and go over.
And that's definitely the thing that is a concern, right? Hunch, you're right. How many balls are there to go around? Could Godwin, could Evans, could Palmer be on the receiving end to all these yards? Speaking of Trey Palmer, quick, we know he has a knack for the end zone, Hunch, so we're going to go with the kill here. We're going to go with a touchdown scorer's odds if Trey Palmer is able to find himself into the end zone. That would be... Let's see, where's all-time touchdown score? I don't know if they have the odds out, so we'll go with receiving yards for Trey Palmer. His sits at a mere 14.5 receiving yards for Trey Palmer, over under.
14 yards, that's going to be a first down. I'll take it.
Yeah, because, I mean, even if you're not too confident in that, you could get one catch and get there, right?
Yeah, I'm a little biased too, and I kind of, with my team, I know my team, so I can see it happening. But the game is crazy and things change to, flip and turn. So, I mean, with him, he only had I see him getting it. Him and Baker, yeah, I see him getting over 14 yards. He can do it.
I think so as well. I mean, that could be a touchdown catch, although Dwayne says under. Our man, Mike D in the building, says, hey, Mike. The number one Canadian Bucs fan in our little spectrum of Buccateers fans. We love having Mike D. Welcome to the way too early pregame show and breakfast with the Buccateers. Tampa Tones was at the Notre Dame Central Michigan game yesterday. So a little slow start today, but we're here, we're brewing, we're battling as Huncho and Tones are taking you through the pregame show here. Shaq Barrett Over or under half a sack. So all Shaq will have to do is either get one full sack or two half a sacks, and you would win more money. It's plus 115. So say if you bet $10, you'd win $11.50. Are you thinking Shaq gets a sack today, Hunch?
Their guard is down. I believe one of their guards is out.
Yup,
So
Nate Davis, their new offseason guard from the Titans that they paid 3 years, $30 million, pretty good money.
yeah, so I mean, I can see him getting a half a sack. But if Shaq is going to have a game, I expect for it to start now. So I'll take Shaq with the one.
To me, these odds are pretty good on a guy like Justin Fields because Justin Fields, as Mike D says, rest in peace, Mike Will. Yeah, it's tragic, man. That was a whole tragic, couple of weeks there, and Huncho and I and the rest of the Buccateers did our best to stay strong and bring you guys the real news and facts. And we talked about it on a handful of pods in the past. So if you do want to catch up with our Will coverage and whatnot, it's on a couple of the previous shows, but we're going to leave the rest in peace Will in the bottom line all season. That ain't going anywhere. Rest in peace Will's here to stay, and we're actually making Halloween Buccateers t-shirts that will give a little tribute to the late great Mike Williams as well, and those will be available for giveaway. You could win them via giveaway. They won't be available any other way outside of potentially winning him for giveaways. So we got a ton of cool stuff, but absolutely rest in peace, Mike Williams. Let's go out there and keep winning for the big guy. Let's win in his honor. Hunch, JTS, Joe Tryon, Shoenka, over under half a sack. Those odds are phenomenal. It's times 150. So if you bet 10 on JTS, you would win $15 there. Do you like those odds for JTS getting a sack?
If anybody, I like him to get a sack. I'm gonna go with it.
I agree with that. I actually kind of do like him to get a sack today as well. I think that Justin Fields runs into some trouble out there, no pun intended. And I do think that the Bucs are able to get a couple sacks, and I think JTS is going to be one of those guys who ends up getting a sack as well. Dwayne likes it as well, Hunch. So you're in good standing, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, like I said, I'm a little biased because it's my team probably, but I know what they're capable of, and it's just so much that happens in the blink of an eye during a game. So you'll be right there, and you could be right there and miss your, you know what I'm saying, your bet prop or whatever. So it's a hit or miss, but I'm going with the hit more than the miss.
It is, brother. And our last one for now for these prop bets. This is going to be a steep one. It's going to be a hard one to predict here, but Jamel Dean to get an interception in this game, that would be times 800. So say if you bet $10 on this one, you would win $80 back. You would get a really sizable, nice return. Obviously, you need a Jamel Dean interception for that to happen. So it's going to be a tricky one, a tough one. But Hunch, do you like Jamel Dean's odds in an interception?
I mean, Jamel Dean is due for one. If they're gonna go at him or they're gonna go at McCullough, I don't know, Tom. Man, that's one. That's beating me. I'll have to go with the under.
Yeah, that one I'm not sure about, but I mean, putting 5 or 10 on that for the return might be worth it. I think I'd roll the dice, put the $5 down, and hey, if he gets a pick, I win 40, and if he doesn't, I just lose a mere 5. Actually, this is going to be the last one because he had such an incredible game last week. Our man, Big Game Chase with the $sign, we now call him in his first name, Chase McLaughlin, new Bucs kicker. JC Allen from Sports Illustrated, Bucs Game Day SI in the chat. What's up?
He was up at it early, man.
He has to get his Patriots blessings in today. They have a tough one.
What do you mean?
He just has to get his Bucs content going, but get his game day chili for his Patriots going as well.
Are you trying to say he's a Patriots fan?
No, JC knows where to root for. He knows where his heart is invested now. I mean, he's one of those great guys out there who's a Bucs fan now and forever. So, JC, we're adopting you for the millions and millions of years.
Millions.
and millions down the road. Holy crap, he's got a hell of a leg. Yes, Chase McLaughlin does have a hell of a leg. And Huncho, that leads us to his over-under on his point total today. Chase McLaughlin, over-under 6.5 points today. That would mean 2 field goals and an extra point, or a field goal and 4 extra points. Do you think Chase McLaughlin gets to 6.5?
I hope. I mean, if we have to, but I don't. That's a tough one. I don't think he gets the 6.
You see this now? So I tried to entrench JC into the good graces of Tampa, and he has to go on and say he's still a Pats fan. Well, you could have pretended, JC. You could have held your head high, and you could have went out with pride. No, I'm kidding, but I agree, JC. It does help you give the Bucs coverage because you're not emotionally attached to the team. I do agree with that, JC. But one thing's for real. I'm liking although the Patriots lost last week, I do like where their offense is heading. I like what Bill O'Brien does for the Patriots a lot. It's not like the past couple of years where you had the Matt Patricias and the Joe Judges of the world, aka defensive coaches, special teams coaches, trying to coach up Mac Jones to become a better quarterback. No, this year you have one of the better offensive minds in the game of football, Bill O'Brien. I'm not saying GM, I'm saying offensive minds. Bill O'Brien is an incredible offensive mind. And I really think that the Patriots are making a step in the right direction. And to me, it wouldn't shock me if they beat Miami today. Hell, I took New England with the points last week against Philly. They didn't cover, but I wouldn't be surprised if New England beats the Dolphins today. Hunch, your quick thoughts on Patriots Dolphins today.
Let's go Dolphins.
Yeah, you think Dolphins get the dub? I don't blame you there. As Neil says, yes, sir, yes, sir. What it do, Neil? Glad to have you back. Another regular here on the Buccateers. Our man Neil in the house. And we have a couple regulars. JC in the house. I have great relationships. JC, we know your resume, brother. We're just pulling your leg. We know what you could do. We know what you bring to the table. We know you're the rock
All
of
right.
Huncho, give us your last word, brother.
I mean, we're gonna have a good game. I hope we beat them by 30 points. Go Bucs. Stay safe and stay blessed out there.
You stay blessed, stay safe, have a good day at church, brother, and enjoy the game. I'm going to stay right here with you all on the Buccateers here as we're just getting cooking here. It's my fault that Huncho had to bounce out. We should have been on about an hour earlier than we were, but, you know, things happen. Colorado State goes into desperation mode. It drags on a little bit. You stay up a little later. You know, I was at the Notre Dame Central Michigan game yesterday, and what I'm saying is JC Allen is out. All right, I got to get ready to head to the stadium. JC, good luck out there today, brother. Do your greatness of reporting. You know, don't let your foot off the gas. If you get into those post-game pressers, you've been doing a hell of a job. And join Pat O'Connor and the boys for the barefoot walk out there, right? That's seemingly the new tradition, the barefoot walk. I think it takes place by Keefe, Pat O'Connor, and I want to say Anthony Nelson might be a part of that as well. So thanks for chatting with us today, JC. You're the man. All you guys could catch JC's great work at Bucs Game Day SI as he is now covering the Bucs for Sports Illustrated. Bucs Rays Bolt says, go Bucs, let's go. Go Bucs, let's go. Shout out to Smack Apparel, my new shirt. Pay Mike. They gave me a gift card and I got to choose a shirt. Very nice of the gentleman over at Smack Apparel. So yeah, pay Mike. I love this shirt. I want to pay him, but realistically, and we're going to get into that here in a little bit here on the Way Too Early pregame show for the Buccateers. We're going to get into the Mike Evans contract, into what we should do. Should we pay him what he's seeking? Is he asking for realistic money or anything in between? So we'll see what happens, but I think Mike Evans deserves roughly around what Chris Godwin's making right now. I know he's asking for more. I know he wants that Cooper Cup money. As Dwayne says, I'll be back soon. Hope to have you back in the chat soon, Dwayne. We'll be here for about 40 more minutes or so. Bucs, Rays, Bolts. Bears will walk the plank today. Speaking of walk the plank, let's do our segment here. We're going to do the odd pirate out. Every Sunday on the Way Too Early pregame show, we're going to bring you guys a segment called the Odd Pirate Out, who we think the Bucs could take advantage of today. As Dwayne says, he needs to retire a Buck. Neil says facts. Think Bucs should wait on Mike Evans' deal today. Yeah, I mean, Bucs are going to wait at this point, right? It's really clear to me that they're not going to do what they did with Vita Vea a handful of years back and work to extend him during the season. I think they're going to wait till after the season. Hell, I could see it getting to the point where the Bucs let Mike. Hey, there's my Mike Evans jersey. That Mike Evans jersey was worn against the Browns. Bucs Browns and jersey swap with Josh Gordon, actually. And yeah, now I'm lucky enough to have it. But I think they're going to do the wait and see approach with Mike. I think they elect him to test free agency. No, I don't think they franchise tag Mike Bucks Grays Bolts, because the way wide receivers are getting paid nowadays, if they were to franchise tag Mike Evans next year, that would be 1 year for about $28 million. I don't think that's a good deal for Mike. I don't think that's a good deal for the Bucs. I mean, the money's there for Mike, obviously, but he doesn't get his long-term blanket security. So that would really upset him. And then the Bucs, do you really want to pay him $28 million over the course of a year or so? Instead of wait until later, we'll get into my Mike Evans takes now. I personally think after the season, we should give him 2 for 45-ish and reevaluate after that. Or if you want to do 3 for 65-ish and then build in some incentives. Hey, he can make $1 million if he gets here. Hey, he can make $500K if he gets to a Pro Bowl, or he could get $200,000 if he gets this amount of catches this early in the season. I mean, look at our man, former Bucs safety Jordan Whitehead last week on Monday Night Football. He looked incredible. He had 3 interceptions. He earned himself an incentive right there. He earned himself an extra $250,000 by getting 3 interceptions. Jordan Whitehead, his season total was just that 3 interception mark, and he got it in 1 game. So maybe if you do build incentives into a Mike Evans contract, you could make him very happy and motivated, right? If you put the 10 touchdown mark in the Mike Evans incentive deal contract. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. But my thing is, I'd give Mike 2 for 45 or 3 for 65 and build in incentives where he could make more money. That's where I'm going with it. I don't want to do the franchise tag. J-Lo in the house. Toot toot. J-Lo in the house. What up, J-Lo? How the hell you doing? Happy game day, brother. Excited to see you. Excited to have you here. Hope your day is going great, brother. Congrats on your Florida Gators win yesterday. They took the steam out of that room as they ended up shocking the world with a win over Tennessee. And I was on the Gators. I predicted the Gators yesterday, and I'm glad I went with the Gators. So there you go, Jeremy. Hopefully you can make it back-to-back days. W's for you. Keep tag him as win. No, we're going to have too many guys to tag, because we're going to have to lock up all these guys. So think about it. If we tag Mike Evans, that's $28 million against the cap next season that we couldn't use anymore, right? So it would make a lot more sense if you try and lock in a guy like Mike Evans, like Neil and I are saying, 3 years with incentives. So you give a guy like Mike Evans $20 million a year, $21 million a year, let's say. That means you're saving roughly $7 to $8 million a year by not franchise tagging him. By not franchise tagging Mike, you're saving $7 to $8 million a year next year, and that assumes if this deal could get worked out. So then you could pivot and use that franchise tag on a guy like Antoine Winfield Jr. or on a guy like Devin White. I don't think it'll be Devin White because I think that could end ugly. We've seen Devin and the Bucs exchange words and blows, and Devin was sub-Instagramming, I guess we could call it, not sub-tweeting, but he was going on Instagram and saying some things. So, yeah, we could honestly probably franchise tag Antoine Winfield Jr. would be my best bet. And then, we're going to have to worry about what happens with Mike, what happens with Levante. They're both going to be free agents next year. And, all these UDFAs, Devin Tompkins will be a free agent next year as he's a UDFA. You're going to have a couple questions on the line, both offense and defense. Will Ryan Jensen come back? What do we do with his money if he doesn't? Will the Bucs work to extend worse, or will they let him go into the year unextended? There's just a lot of questions next year, but we'll get into those more as the offseason hits us. I mean, we're still in the full swing of the 2023 season, so these are questions that will probably help play themselves out over the course of these next 17 to 23 weeks when we win the Super Bowl and we have all these tough questions to make, right? I mean, no, I have faith that we will win it, though. We will win it, but we're going to have a lot of tough calls to make down the line, down the road, and that's okay. But all these guys are motivated right now, and that's why I think the Bucs will be continuing to play good football, because Antoine Winfield's playing for payday right now. He's going to be highly motivated to keep his engine running high. Devin White playing to prove himself, right? Last year, he had a lot of run-ins with former Bucs legend Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp said, hey, I would have went in the locker room and I would have ripped the captain patch right off of Devin White's chest. And when you have Hall of Fame players like Warren Sapp saying things as such, it's going to motivate you. So you could tell week one, Devin was motivated. So we have a motivated Mike Evans. We have a motivated Devin White out there. I think some of these contract things are actually playing into the Bucs' hand for the 2023 season, because I think it could cause some potential motivation, and I think that could only be good things for the Bucs heading into the second half of this season. But we're worried about today. We got the Bears today. We got a great former rivalry when both of these teams were involved in the NFC Central way back in the day before realignment and before mergers. We are going to be playing our former rivals, the Bears, and they come to town losing week one against the Packers. So they're going to be motivated to win any way they can. And exactly, you bring up another one, Bucs Raised Bolts, Baker Mayfield. Here's another guy who's going to be, if he plays well, he's going to be, a free agent as well. So what do you do with Baker? We've seen what happened week one with Geno Smith and Daniel Jones. Do you want to give Baker that type of contract right away? Would you want to franchise tag him? I mean, these are tough questions that will help get answered throughout the season. And today will help answer some as well, as it is already week 2. We have the Buccaneers 2.5-point favorites against the Chicago Bears. The money line is -148 for the Buccaneers. So if you took the Bucs straight up and you put $100 on them and they ended up winning, you would win about $60 to $70 or so. Or you could take the Bucs at -2.5. And if the Bucs win by 3 or more, then you're covering that spread. So either way, I think the Bucs should cover the spread. I obviously think they should win straight up. So I'm very confident with the Bucs today after what I've seen last week in Minnesota. And we're going to go over injury reports here now momentarily. We're going to get you guys caught up to date with the Bucs' latest and greatest injuries. We did have a couple big ones ruled out on Friday by Coach Todd Bowles. So if you guys have missed it, here is the time we're going to be going over who's in, who's out. We did get some call-ups from the practice squad already as well. So it's going to be an interesting day of backups playing, of people trying to get more familiar with the system. So let's go into the injury report here, as we're going to be talking some injuries. And the injury report is brought to you by Bucs Life News. Stay up to date with all your latest and greatest for Bucs Life LLC. You can keep up with them on Facebook at Bucs Life LLC and on Twitter at Bucs Life LLC as well. So the injury report is brought to you by Bucs Life LLC. Carlton Davis, Bucs star cornerback, has been ruled out. He is out for today with turf toe. He got that turf toe last week, and Christopher says can't pay everyone. I totally agree, Christopher. You cannot pay everybody. That's why, to me right now, sadly, unless Mike, clamps down a little bit, he's probably the odd one out. But Carlton Davis, cornerback, toe. He has turf toe. He is out. He's out for today. That's going to be a big one to watch. Servatia Dennis, the rookie from Pittsburgh, he's out today with a hamstring injury, so that's going to be something to keep your eyes on and to watch. Christian Izien, the rookie who got the NFL Street type interception last week. He went in there and he just said, and he stripped the ball from KJ Osborne. Christian Izien is playing today. He passed the concussion protocol on Saturday, and the undrafted free agent rookie from Rutgers is lined up to play today for the Bucs. Kalijah Kancey, first-round pick out of Pitt. He is out for today with a hurt calf. So Kalijah Kancey will be on the bench for today as well. And then coming into the week, Baker Mayfield was on the injury report with the shoulder injury. He will obviously be playing today. So there you go. There's the Bucs injury report. We'll get into the Bears here shortly, but we're going to go into some practice squad call-ups that the Bucs have made the past couple of days or so. And that was former longtime Buck. We brought him back to the practice squad after he went through waivers and no one claimed him, and now he's back on our practice squad. The Chicago native himself, Tupac, Pat O'Connor. He is back today. Very exciting to see what O'Connor is going to bring to the table. I think he'll be hungry out there, especially knowing that he didn't get a chance to prove himself week one like he has for the past 6 or 7 years when he was on this Bucs team, right? So Pat O'Connor is getting elevated today. He will be playing for the Bucs, and he was on our practice squad last week. And then J.J. Russell, the UDFA linebacker last season, was a rookie out of Memphis. He will be elevated today as well. He played in a number of games for us last year. J.J. Russell did, and he looked pretty dang good out there in limited action last year, and he looked really good in the preseason this year. So I'm excited to see what those two guys could bring to the table, J.J. Russell and Pat O'Connor. Chase Claypool torched by the Bucs last year. Chase Claypool torched the Go Bucs last year in the Bucs game against Pittsburgh. We'll be interested to see if he's active or inactive or not, but we'll see what happens as the Bears are expected to have a couple scratches today, and it seems like a healthy scratch is going to be Bears running back Deontay Foreman. I'm not sure why, but J.C. Allen has tweeted that, so it'll be interesting to see how the Bears use their backfield, but it's seemingly like Deontay Foreman will be a healthy scratch today against the Bucs for the Bears. A heavy dose of Khalil Herbert and Rashawn Johnson is now expected. Bears wide receiver DJ Moore is expected to be more involved today in the pass game as well. And then we'll get to the Bears injury report here quick before we move on to our next segment. But Bears injury report, non-injury related, the Bears defensive coordinator is going to be missing the game due to personal reasons, due to personal issues. So we hope all that goes well for him over there. Bears nickel corner Josh Blackwell has a hamstring injury. He is doubtful for today, so he's likely not to suit up. Bears linebacker Dylan Cole had a hamstring injury as well, so he's questionable. He'll be a game time decision for today for the Chicago Bears. And then a big one, offensive lineman they brought in this offseason, gave him 3 years, $30 million, no chump change. Nate Davis, they gave him a lot of money. He'll be inactive today for the Bears. It's the Godfather, James Rubright's in the house. Good morning, Godfather. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining Breakfast with the Buccateers on the way to early pregame shows. We're still here with you guys for at least another 25 minutes or so, breaking down the big Bucs game. But that is the Bucs and Bears injury report and inactives report. Again, that is brought to you by Bucs Life LLC. You can keep up with Bucs news, Bucs hot takes, rumors, podcasts, and so much more by going to Facebook or Twitter or your Google browser and typing in Bucs Life News LLC, and you can find our podcast over on there as well. So that'll do it for the injury and inactives report for today so far. We'll let you know if we hear anything else. We'll let you know if we see anything else on either Chicago or Tampa's behalf, and we'll see how the cake shakes out moving closer and closer to game day kickoff here, as we are less than 3 hours away now. It is 10:04 Eastern time. Inactives come out in an hour and 26 minutes. So we're nearing there. We're nearing the finish line for the inactives list. They need to come out soon in an hour and 24 minutes. We will not be here most likely, but if we are, we'll bring them to you when that time comes. So a little bit news around the NFL today. We're going to do a little brief NFL segment before we get back into the crux of Bears Bucs talk, as that's why we're here. Let's not get it twisted. But Jaguars and wide receiver Calvin Ridley won't negotiate contract talks until after the season. So it seems like Jaguars and Calvin Ridley are on the same pace as Mike Evans and the Bucs are. They will hold off talks about contract extensions until after the season. According to Diana Rossini, Chase Claypool will play today. DJ Moore says they addressed it on the sideline and whatnot, as we might have Huncho back here. Hunch, you're back already, brother. How the hell you doing? Well, we'll see if we get Hunch back. But Chase Claypool criticized last week. It does look like he'll still be in the cards this week and folded in. So that's according to Diana Rossini. Obviously, we talked about the heat today. It should be over 100 degrees in Tampa with the heat index. So the Bears will be having their hands full battling the heat on that sideline as well. Report Damar Hamlin will be inactive for the Buffalo Bills. If you guys remember, Damar Hamlin was the one who faced the tragedy during Monday Night Football last season. So it's going to have to be at least another week until we see Damar Hamlin make his way back onto an NFL field. Brandon Cooks for the Cowboys is expected to miss today's game against the Jets. Wide receiver got banged up over the course of this week of practice, now expected to miss today's game against the Jets. And he looked pretty good last week, so that's not too good over there. A couple more news and notes here before we get back to all Bucs coverage heading up to kickoff. The Michael Orr tragedy, or saga, whatever the hell's going on over there, it's still going on. The Tui family admitted to never intended to adopt him. They denied taking advantage of the situation for financial gain. So a lot of weird stuff still going on with Michael Orr and the Tui family over there as well. And we'll wrap it up here with Ian Rappaport saying Titans first-round guard, former Northwestern offensive lineman Peter Skorinski is inactive today because he needed an appendectomy. Ooh, that sounds tough. That sounds not fun right there. Actually, we got a couple more good ones here. Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud intends to play today. The second overall pick from the 2023 NFL Draft got banged up with a shoulder injury. Going to add in some injury music here to the background, or just news music as we go over news from around the NFL. But C.J. Stroud should play today for the Texans, while the Packers will be without Christian Watson for today. Seemingly, Packers wide receiver Christian Watson will be out of that one, as we might get Hunch back. He just disappeared now, but we'll see what else is going on here. Yada yada da around the NFL. It seems like that's it. And by the way, it broke last night. We'll share this and then we'll move on. Aaron Rodgers. We all obviously seen what happened to the big man, Aaron Rodgers, tearing his ACL on Monday night. That was a tragedy out there. A lot of former players blaming the field conditions, the turf and whatnot. But Aaron Rodgers is not ruling out a return for the 2023 NFL season. Now, the only way he'd probably get to make that happen is if he ended up making the playoffs at some point, or if the Jets end up making the playoffs, then Rodgers could return. But here's the thing. I mean, you always want Rodgers on your side, right? But if the Jets make the playoffs, that must mean they're playing pretty good football. And you might not want to screw up the camaraderie. So we'll see what's going to happen there as the season continues to wind down here for these guys. But that's today's look around the NFL. All the news and notes and actives, inactives, all up to date. Is Alex Barlow says, hell yeah, buck it up. Hunch, good to have you back, buddy. We're here for about 20 more minutes or so talking Bucs ball. I kind of just went over today's inactives and actives around the NFL. One thing that obviously caught a lot of people's attention was the Aaron Rodgers news saying, hey, I might be able to come back later this year. But as James Rubright and I were saying, if the Jets keep winning, will they, want to take the risk of playing an injured Rodgers and maybe having happened to what Ryan Jensen, maybe they'll wait for that.
Yeah, I feel like that injury part plays a major key part in it, and I feel like that's just a little disrespectful. Also, if Zach Wilson gets the team to the playoffs, and then you just bench him immediately for Aaron Rodgers, which is, I get it, we understand it, but if a guy puts his heart and emotions and he gets the team there, I mean, come let him play it out, or you know what I'm saying? I'm not a GM, I'm not a head coach by any means, but I would think if a guy plays that good to get them to the playoffs, then he deserves a shot to win some playoff games.
It's kind of cool here too, Hunch. This story is just breaking to me. It's kind of a funny one, but Diana Rossini from The Athletic, formerly of ESPN, very nice looking lady, by the way. She's a nice lady, that is for sure. But she has a story here out about Buccaneers coach Todd Bowles and his pregame rituals and stuff. And this is what Todd Bowles says he enjoys for his pregame rituals. An exact quote from the article: NCIS, Law and Order, SVU, Criminal Minds, ... Oh, I make sure I get a Krispy Kreme donut. So it seems like Coach Bowles starts his day off with a lot of murder mysteries out there, with a lot of law and order scenarios, and then a nice little donut to cap off the pregame. Do you think that's a pregame recipe for success, Huncho? Are you with Coach Bowles there? Do you think that's a nice little pregame, or would you change it up a bit?
Hey man, if it works, it works, man. Hey, that's some murder mystery before a game is crazy. That is very crazy. But if it works, Bowles, it works, man. And a Krispy Kreme donut, you could never go wrong with a donut from Krispy Kreme's, man. So if it's gonna give us a dub, I mean, stick to what you do, Coach Bowles.
I agree, man. I love it, and I think you're right. I think it's showing grit. I think it's showing a lot of pizzazz out there with him not only enjoying a delicious pregame donut, but able to, watch some of those murder mysteries is incredible. So I like Todd Bowles, and I love Todd Bowles' demeanor, and I've met him a couple times, and he's nothing but a great individual, a great human being, and I love his pregame ritual as well. So Huncho, if you missed it, we did talk briefly about Bears wide receiver Chase Claypool. A lot of Bears players and Bears fans and Bears reporters, podcasters, everything under the sun, you name it, were at Chase Claypool's throat this past week after a lackadaisical effort and performance this last Sunday against the Packers, when it looked like the All-22 film showed he wasn't blocking on runs. He wasn't really hustling too much. And he will be active today. According to Adam Schefter, he's officially active today. Thoughts on Chase Claypool, as he did kill the Bucs last year when he was a member of the Steelers? He had almost 100 yards and a touchdown. What Chase Claypool do you think we're going to get today? A motivated one who knows he almost just got benched and inactive, and he'll put up a performance like last year against us? Or do you think we're able to keep this cat cooled off and keep him in check?
I mean, a zebra don't change the stripes, man. You shouldn't have to be told about your play on the field when you're making millions of dollars. And at a point in time, you were considered a number one wide receiver. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like he's not happy with where he's at. He's probably not happy with Justin Fields, whatever, with how the scheme, how they're using him. And if they haven't changed that, I don't see anything that's gonna change his attitude or his approach. If he hasn't came out and said that's not true, But the film don't lie. If you're not giving it your all every down, I don't think just because the news came out, you're gonna. Oh yeah, if you don't want to be there, ask for a trade request. But I'm not too much worried about him if he's gonna be on Carlton Davis. He hasn't lived up to the hype since what year one in Pittsburgh. So I mean, he's a threat because of DJ Moore's there, and he's a good probably number 2 or 3. But I'm not highly scared of Chase Claypool.
Yeah, I'm not really scared of him either. He did get the best of us last season. I don't necessarily think that's how it shakes out this season. And it will be interesting because, as we reported earlier, as JC Allen broke the news a couple days back and the Bucs made it official about a day ago, Carlton Davis is going to miss today's game with turf toe injury. So the Bucs will have to play musical chairs a little bit back there. Huncho, we're looking at Zion McCollum increased playing time most likely, and that means we're going to see the likes of Dean McCollum, D Delaney's of the world out there, Hayes of the world out there. It will be interesting to see. To me, if we're able to pressure Fields, get our ass after Fields, and really make him feel uncomfortable like Green Bay did last week, I don't think our back end injuries will necessarily matter as much. Whereas our pass rush is lackadaisical, Fields escapes the pocket a little bit, has some time to throw. That's when I think the Bucs could run into some trouble today.
Yeah, most definitely. It definitely runs off one of another. And if we can get a pass rush going and hit Justin Fields, and at the same time we're scoring, and then it forces him to throw the ball more, then he starts to get picked off. Todd Bowles loves sending exotic blitz. I don't think very good. I think Todd just has a phenomenal game plan. The Bears, they killed us. Didn't they beat us last year, right? If I'm correct, right?
Yep.
They beat us, so I'm pretty sure Todd Bowles he's not going out like that again. He's not. He's drawing up something. I'm pretty sure. The stop Fields, the loss of Carlton Davis is vital, you know. But I think we have enough players, and it's going to be a good test for us to see what we have at depth to not be hurting so bad to make up DJ Moore. Okay, I get it, but I don't think he'll kill us alive, especially with Justin Fields throwing him the ball.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Hunch. I think that we'll get the best of him today and the Bears today. So I think that, although I think it'll be a little bit closer than what people think, I still think we should win by 9. I still think we should win pretty decently. I think it should be one of those games where we don't fumble the bag all too much over there. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be one of those things where we got to come to play today. It's the NFL and it's any given Sunday. And there's a reason we're only minus 2.5, Hunch. A
Right.
lot of people still aren't all too confident in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Exactly. You gotta remember, man. It's at the same time, first week, you never know. Week one, blenders, man, and pretenders. You never know who is who and what they can do. Teams come out the gate looking good, then people catch on to what they're doing and they just shut it down. So I understand the hype, but don't get over too hyped on what we did last week because you never know what and who the Bears are this week. And as far as us speaking, they already planned for us to win like 2 games. Big Booger McFarland said 2 or 3. A couple other guys out there said we're game, a 4 game winning team. So we'll see. I disagree, but I just want to see consistent football.
We're getting a lot of haters out there, Hunch, and that's what we do best. So we'll take it and run with it, man. We're not going to let anyone ruin our party here. We're going to hope the Bucs go in there today and play smash mouth football. As Christopher O'Reilly's here, let's effing go. Game day, baby. And we got Pops joining us on Twitter. Says I wouldn't blitz a lot today. I would stop the run and dare Fields to beat us with the pass. What say you about that, Hunch?
Oh, most definitely. That's the number one thing that you want to do. You definitely want to get him to stop running the ball. I mean, you want to get him to stop running the ball and force him to pass. And force him to beat you with his arm because he has yet proven to show that he can be elite thrower of the ball and consistently. So this is what we should key on. Make him have to make quick decisions and get off the ball and make sure send pressures at him so he can't check to his third options. And if you do that, I guarantee you can force force turnovers, and force him to think longer, force sacks and interceptions. You know what I'm saying?
Couldn't agree more, brother. I think that we're gonna have to get him to play into the hand and really make it our way and try and get Fields to feel uncomfortable out there. And I will say this, when I look at this game, I've noticed, shout out to Real Bucks Talk, friend of mine, they both do a great job of covering the show, especially Michael Pless. He is the man. I hope to get him on the Buccateers podcast soon, but he does a great job of film breakdown. And he analyzed pretty much that Todd Bowles never really actually spies with linebackers or safeties with a one-on-one spy necessarily, where he'll kind of have a Devin White or an Antoine Winfield Jr. pursue the quarterback, right? They're not going to stay 5 yards off the line and kind of follow him where he goes. But instead, Bowles will send a Devin White or he'll send an Antoine Winfield in, try and get the blitz. And then if Fields gets out of the pockets or the scrambling quarterback gets out of the pockets, that's when he has a mini. Well, he's supposed to have a mini soft edge contained with the edge rushers supposed to be keeping in their gaps hunch. But that's what I think we'll see a lot of today. I think we see a lot of Winfield blitzes. I think we see a lot of Devin White blitzes with the edges kind of playing a little more mellow. So,
Right.
you know, the Bucs are going to attack Fields up the middle, try and get him to roll to the outside seams, but we're really not going to be necessarily blitzing many more guys as much as we are going to take a linebacker or safety and kind of highlight him mano a mano to play football on Justin Fields, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't. Todd Bowles does a great job disguising and putting guys in positions to be great. So I don't think this week anything changes. I think he's going to have a good game plan for Justin Fields. I just think we just gotta, if you can force Justin Fields to stay in the pocket and not use his legs, we have an awesome chance, man. Because if we could just limit him to just throwing, that'd be amazing. But because this kid can run, so we got to be able to stop him from that first, and then we'll talk about the pressures and the defensive back ends and stuff like that. But we got to stop that man from running.
Yeah, and he's one of the better running quarterbacks in all of the league, Justin Fields.
In the blink of an eye.
Man, it's really crazy because even when you're up 17 or so on the Bears, they have so much faith in Fields in the running game that, you know, they're still going to chip away and run the ball, as Neil says, probably going to take an L next Monday. And Neil, I don't necessarily consider it an L yet, but I will say I know where your head's at. That's why this game is a lot bigger too, right, Huncho? Because if you go into next Monday against the Eagles 1-1, your backs are kind of up against the wall. It feels almost like a must-win because you don't want to go to 1-2 then against the Saints. That could be a little ugly and nervous there. But if you go into next week's game 2-0, it's obviously not a free game, but it gives you momentum against the Eagles. You go into there undefeated. You get a little more advantageous. And just in case you do lose against the Eagles, then it doesn't hurt as much because then you're 2-1 at that point.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I take it one game at a time, so I'm not even worried about the Eagles right now. I'm pretty much just focused on the game for tomorrow. I mean, for today. Hey, you know, so just getting that established and out the way, and then we'll see about the Eagles when we get there.
I agree with you. Couldn't agree with you more, but I think that does mean today's game is huge. It's a biggie. Steppin' Pepin says, "What's up? Shaq attack today. Bears DC is out today due to personal reasons." Yeah, we did go over that a little bit. Along with him out for the Bears, you have offensive lineman Nate Davis out for personal reasons. They gave him big money this offseason, signed him to a 3-year, $30 million contract. He is out for the Bears today as well. And then running back, they gave a lot of money to this offseason. Deontay Foreman is a healthy, inactive scratch today as well, it's looking like, for the Chicago Bears, as it will be the Khalil Herbert and the Rashawn Johnson show. So the Bears are changing things up a little bit. It's only week 2, but we're starting to see them cut back on some inactives and veteran playing time. I mean, between Foreman and Davis, Huncho, these were 2 big free agents the Bears signed this offseason, and now today they're going to be without neither of them. doesn't shape up too well for those guys or the front office side of things. As Pepin Steppen says, 24-14. Hey, you kept consistent, Pepin. I got your score from the other night written down. I got the score from the other night going down, and you stayed consistent. You kept the score. As Huncho has technical difficulties, we'll see if we get him back or not, but we'll keep him up just in case we do. But Pepin Steppen the other night said 24-14 on our Friday night pregame show, and he said Shaq Barrett player of the game. Tonight he says 24-14 Bucs. Shaq attack today. So hey, our man Steppen Pepin does stay consistent with the hot hand of consistency. So that's great to see over there as Pops chimes in with his score prediction. We'll get it up on the board here in a minute, and we're going to go over all of our score predictions from Friday as we have JC Allen's, we have J-Lo's, and we have a whole lot more as well. So just to remind you guys, the new structure of our podcast and our shows and formats, we go into it as such as Steppen Pepin says this is the best show. We love you, Donnie. We appreciate your kind words and being with us early and often here on the Buccateers on the Way Too Early pregame show. And yeah, we structure it as such. Tuesdays, we do Tune Me Up Tuesdays, and that's usually Tuesday night where we backpedal a little bit. We spend half the pod going over the game from the week before. Then we spend half the pod going over the following week's game. So Tune Me Up Tuesdays take place every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern on the Buccateers. And then we have preview shows, and those take place either Thursday or Friday nights, depending on our special guest availability. The last 2 weeks, they were on Friday nights, as we've had the great JC Allen, Sports Illustrated's JC Allen, that is, from Bucs Game Day SI, join us, and he was able to do it on Fridays. So we had it on Friday nights each of the past 2 weeks, which was really incredible. So, and then every game day, we have the Way Too Early pregame show, Breakfast with the Buccateers edition. It will take place at either 8 or 9 a.m. Eastern time on kickoff game days. So that's the format of our structure. Tuesdays and then Thursdays or Fridays and Sundays will be with you all season long here on the Buccateers. And then you could also catch me in my Bucs coverage every Monday, Friday, and Sunday on Braves Country HD in noon in Georgia, or on streaming devices all over the globe. I'm on there from 4 to 5 Eastern time on Monday and Fridays, talking Go Bucs and all things sports. And then on Saturdays, we do a hell of a tailgate show to get us ready for college football, NFL football, and everything in between for the big weekend of ball. We have a couple more comments coming in here. Pops from Twitter says 27-24 Bucs. That would be nice. That means we technically cover by a half a point as well. And then J-Lo is consistent too. On Friday night, Jeremy joined us in the chat. He commented Bucs 28, Bears 17, and Mike Evans is a player of the games. You know, sometimes you get inconsistencies with people. Sometimes Friday you think one way, then Sunday comes and you're thinking another way. But nonetheless, all the score predictions and player of the game predictions we have are JC Allen from Sports Illustrated predicts Chris Godwin to be the player of the game, and he has the Bucs winning 27-16. I have the Bucs winning 30-21 with Antoine Winfield Jr. being the player of the game. Steppen Pepin, we went over his a little bit ago. He has the Bucs winning 24-14, with Shaq Barrett is his player of the game. And then Bucko the Bruce has the Bucs winning 23-16, with Sean Tucker is his player of the game. And then we have Huncho has the Bucs winning 26-17, with Baker Mayfield as his player of the game. Let bake. Let's see what he could do. We're have a couple segments left. We're going to go over the whole NFL scoreboard in entirety for the week, and then we're going to come back and do our last minute thoughts and wrap up on the Bucs Way Too Early pregame show, Breakfast with the Buccateers. So we're going to call this Tampa Tones 3 minutes here. We're going to have 3 minutes where we go over the world of football. We're going to look at all the games on today's dockets And I'll give you my prediction on who wins these games. And Tampa Tones is 3 minutes. Here we go. Starting off, 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff. Raiders travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Bills are -8. Give me the Bills straight up in that one. I think the Bills ultimately beat the Raiders. I think the Bills need this one more than the Raiders do. I think the Bills laid an egg last week. They had a golden opportunity with Zach Wilson in that game that they didn't take advantage of, where the Raiders won last week, and they can afford to lose one this week. So I'll take the Bills over the Vegas Raiders in that one. 1 o'clock Eastern, as we know, Bears travel to Tampa to take on the Bucs. Bucs are -2.5. Give me the Bucs in that, as we've been talking about. The Ravens travel to Cincinnati at 1 o'clock Eastern. The Ravens are getting 3.5 points as 3.5-point underdogs. I like Baltimore in that one today. I don't think the Bengals has what it takes today. I like Baltimore getting the 3.5, that is. I don't know if they win straight up, but I like Baltimore to cover that spread. Chargers at Titans today. Titans are +2.5. I think the Chargers go in there and win today. Both kind of played ugly games last week. The Chargers and Titans did. One of the ugliness needs to end. I think the Chargers upend their ugliness today with a big win on the road at 1 o'clock Eastern. Seahawks Lions, 1 o'clock Eastern. Seattle is +4.5-point underdogs as they head to Detroit to take on the fighting, biting kneecap Dan Campbell and company, and Jared Goff, who looked pretty good last week. Give me Detroit in that one. I like Detroit laying the 4.5. I like Detroit to win that one straight up against Seattle. Anyway, you slice the cake. Donnie Pepin says KC will lose today. Here we go. 1 o'clock Eastern. Chiefs travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, as the Jags are at-home underdogs +3. Kansas City does get big-time defensive end back Chris Jones, who should make an incredible difference up there. We'll see if Steppen Pepin's right on his prediction, but a lot of people have the Jaguars taking home the victory today. 1 o'clock Eastern, you have Indianapolis and Anthony Richardson traveling to Houston to take on a banged-up C.J. Stroud and company. Battle of a couple young rookie quarterbacks, we should say. I think the Colts upend him here. I think the Colts win by at least 6. Give me Anthony Richardson and the Colts. Preview in the NFC South. Green Bay travels to Atlanta. 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. The Packers are 3-point underdogs. I like Green Bay in the points today. They look good against Chicago last week. Battle of 1-0s here. Give me that 3 points that the Packers are getting spotted, and let's see what happens. Starting the afternoon games, 4:05 Eastern. 49ers are -7 on the road at Los Angeles Rams. Give me the Rams here. They looked pretty good last week. Although Niners looked really good, I think Rams being at home will be a little more fired up and a little more ready to roll. 4:05 Eastern, the Giants of New York head to the desert of Arizona to take on Joshua Dobbs and company, who almost pulled off the upset in Washington last week as they almost beat the Redskins in a battle over there. Here you have the Giants on the road at -4 points. It's a must-win for me for the Giants. I do like the Giants to cover the spread in that one today. 4:25 Eastern, the Washington Commandos against the Broncos. Commandos are 3.5-point underdogs. Give me the Commanders. I'm liking Washington with the points in that one. I don't think Sean Payton has any tricks up his sleeve left. He had an abysmal offseason. He was often in the news for all of the wrong reasons, warring with the Jets, being an asshat. I don't think this year goes well for Sean Payton at all. I actually think Ron Rivera and the Commanders win that game straight up today. I'm huge on Washington. Give me them in that one. Jets, Dallas. Dallas is -9. This is the last 4:25 Eastern time game on the slate today. Zach Wilson and co. go to Dallas. That is a big point differential in 9, but it's going to be interesting to see how Zach Wilson plays. Didn't look too great last week, but he did just enough to get the Jets to be able to win. I'll give you something I like more here in this one. Over under 38.5. I know these defenses are great, but give me the over 38.5. I think the Cowboys will get at least 30, 31 on their own, which means the Jets don't have to chip in all too much. And then tonight's showdown, Miami heading to New England, 8:20 Eastern time. New England 2.5-point underdogs at home. As much as I love Miami and I love Mike McDaniel, and I think he's doing a hell of a job there, give me New England and Bill Belichick in this one. I think Bill gets a win here, and I think they at least cover. But I like the Patriots today. Again, I think they've done an incredible job with head coach Belichick recruiting Bill O'Brien to become their offensive coordinator. I think it's a night and day improvement over last year's offensive play calls. And I think Mac Jones does enough today to propel that team to a close one and at least cover that 2.5-point spread. If not, win outright. Tomorrow night, we got a doubleheader, and a friendly reminder, we do have 3 NFL Monday night doubleheaders on the docket this year. This week's, next week's, and then week 14's, I believe. So we're slowly working into the world of Monday Night Football doubleheaders. It would not surprise me before all too long to have, multiple, almost every night have a Monday night doubleheader. But we got Saints and Panthers at 7:15 tomorrow. Panthers are +3. I like the Saints in that one. And then the Browns -2.5 traveling to Pittsburgh. That one's at 8:15. I like the Browns straight up in that one, not the -2.5, but the straight up in that one. That is Tampa Tones. It's 3 minutes, turned into 6 minutes, but what the hell can you do? It was a full slate of games on the docket to go over today, as we are now just 2.5 or less than 2.5 hours till kickoff. We're going to be giving you one last Bucs update here before we let you guys mosey on in and out for the Bucs game against the Bears, and it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a great one today, as it's a 1 o'clock Eastern time kickoff, and we do have an interesting broadcast crew on the call. Is Daryl Johnston. He hates the Bucs. He'll be on the call today, so it'll be interesting to see if Daryl Johnston carries his Bucs hate over into today's game as well. I think he does. He's never been a Bucs guy, and I think he continues to hate on us today as well. So we'll see what happens there. We are back on Fox today. Last week was on CBS, but we'll see what happens. So we're going through the motions here, and we're going over any more Bucs news that might need to be put out there. And Pewter Report says, while Bucs offensive coordinator Dave Canales was pleased with the efficiency of the team's run game in week 1, we were not. So they're hoping to see more of the run. Todd Bowles says about Justin Fields, we are expecting the Justin Fields that led the team in rushing and everything else he does with his arm. So Todd Bowles there is prepping for Fields to have a big day. Donnie Pepin, Steppin' Pepin, says Chase Edmonds gets more touches today. Yeah, I think we'll see more out of both Vaughn and Edmonds. I think Rashad White is still the lead back, but I think that it gets a little more transparency in that backfield today. But yeah, that's big out of Todd Bowles, pretty much saying, hey, we're going to be expecting the old Justin Fields. We're not going to be letting our foot off the gas here. So I think a lot of people are ready to roll, as so are a lot of Bucs fans and Bucs tailgates getting in motion of things right now. I see Corey Hayes out there. I see Dave Canales just tweeted, fire the cannons from his Twitter account, our wonderful offensive coordinator. So we're fired up today. The Bucs coaching staff's fired up today. Bucs players are fired up today. Everyone in the damn room seems fired up today. Steppin', Pepin, J-Lo, the rest of the crew as well. It's been fantastic as we keep motoring here through the Buccateers way too early pregame show. Breakfast with the Buccateers. Round 2 today was. It's already crazy that it's week 2, right? We have week 3 right around the corner at this point. Time flies, man. It's crazy. You really got to entrench in. You really got to enjoy the season, because it's really in the full swing of things, and before you know it, it'll be over in the blink of an eye. So enjoy it. Enjoy week 2 today, ladies and gentlemen. Steppin' Pepin says, my Bears are going down fast. Well, hopefully as your Bears are going down fast down your throat, the Chicago Bears are going down fast on the field, right? I think that's how we need to say it, or that's how we need to do it, or slice the cake. But it's been one of these incredible Breakfast with the Buccateers on the way too early pregame show. And by the way, today, All we need, if the Bucs win, you have the chance to win. This mini helmet, the tweet will be out right now. And if the Bucs win, you could win. All you have to do is follow us on Twitter at Buccateers, retweet the tweet, and follow myself on Twitter as well at Tampa Tones. So very easy giveaway chance. Luke Godecki, well, Steppen Peppin, you can still get into it. You can still get into it. We'll put you in it because you're always in it here. But for those on Twitter, go to Twitter at Buccateers. You could win this beautiful Luke Godecki signed mini helmet, Fire the Damn Cannons, with his number and everything, with the nice little silver face mask. If the Bucs win today, you could win. Just go to Twitter and be on the lookout for giveaway details. Steppen Peppin, I'm going to include you no matter what, because you're here every damn day, brother. You're here every episode. And we really appreciate people like you making the Buccateers go round. So, you know, we just love people like Steppen Peppin. We love people like Jeremy, J-Lo in the house, Pops from Twitter, Bucks Rays Bolts, Neil L., Christopher. It's really been incredible, and we're really growing quite the incredible base of Buccateers listeners here who expect us to be here, giving them news and hot takes and rumors and so much more 3 times a week. So we're blessed to have you guys in our corner. We wouldn't want anyone else in our corner. And let's go out there and get the dub today on the field like we are on the Buccateers podcast. Again, my final score prediction, Tampa 30, Chicago 21, Antoine Winfield Jr. MVP of the game today. Please like us and subscribe to us on YouTube today at Buccateers Podcast. Keep up with us on Twitter at Buccateers, as Steppen Peppin says Buccateers for the win. Keep up with us on Instagram at Buccateers Pod, Apple, Spotify, Google, so much more. Buccateers Podcast. You can always catch an instant replay or the live show if you are on YouTube. Again, fire the damn cannons. Pay attention for the giveaway on Twitter at Buccateers. If you don't have a Twitter, just reach out. And if you're on Steppen Peppin's level, we'll make sure to get you in there. But nonetheless, everybody stay safe, stay humble, and stay blessed on this beautiful Sunday edition of Week 2 of the world of the NFL. Fire the damn cannons. Go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs. Toe meets leather. Gene Decker off air today. Fire the cannons. Let's go Bucs. Baker Mayfield 3-2-1 looks around, fires. Trey Palmer touchdown. Bucs win, Bucs win, Bucs win. Let's do it, Bucs fans. Let's go. Until next time, I'll see you guys Tuesday on Tune Me Up Tuesday. Let's fucking go, baby. Woo! Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Bucs fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lee Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got